Hi everyone, I'm Kim with Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, we're going to discuss my process surrounding Mystery Mystic Monday disappearance readings. And, I don't know who this may interest, but if you are curious to see how I come across these cases, how cases are decided upon, on whether or not I go there and do that reading, do I do any protection rituals, and what about gazing into the photos of these beautiful missing people? Do I do any of that? And the short answer is yes. But if you want to hear more from me about my personal process, please stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about my process. My process is always something that's divinely led. And even when it starts out with the cases that come into to my knowledge, my awareness that it's happening, I don't have the news. I don't have a newspaper. I live in a Spanish-speaking country now, and I don't really indulge in going on, national news, national meaning the United States news. I just don't. I'm living my life right now, but I am very much passionate about helping in any way that I can to help bring awareness to cases, and I do readings. So this is my way of bringing awareness. So oftentimes, I will hear another YouTube channel mention a missing persons case, or I might see it on Facebook. Someone might mention a case or share like a missing persons flyer on their social media. And then something like an intuitive spark will hit. Or even sometimes I'll have divine inspiration through my dreams, and I'll wake up in the next morning and be like, okay, what was that about? And I'll go online, and sure enough, there'll be a missing person story that calls to me. Or it might be a mysterious passing away of someone passing away, and it's mysterious, or there's mysterious elements. So I might be called to work on a reading for those scenarios. But I go with that, I see where it goes. And oftentimes there's not a lot of information out there on missing persons cases, especially in the newer phases, like when the case first happens. Unless it's super high profile, you're not going to have a lot of information. It's really scant information that you can find out there. And oftentimes we have to look at the social media. Like if this person who's missing is loved and valued, what ends up happening is their family and loved ones and friends and co-workers, they're the push. They're the ones getting the missing persons flyers out across social media and in the hands of people in their towns. So I'll go and peruse a few social media platforms, see if any groups are talking about the missing persons case, and then go from there. Now, at this point is when it's time for me to consult my ancestors and guides and my spirit team, I like to call them as well. I consult with them on, is this a case that I can do a reading on? Is this appropriate, right? And I hear what my ancestors have to say first and foremost. And I communicate with them first and foremost through my intuition, through my dreams, through meditation. And, sometimes I'm just getting still and just waiting for inspiration. And oftentimes I'm using my divinatory dice, where I will point blank ask them, is this a case to explore? This case surrounding this person? Is this one that I should do a reading on? Or would my ancestors wish for me, or my guides, or the spirit team, or whomever is stepping forward to give me this guidance. How do you feel about this reading? And I have definitely, to be determined, no, not now, maybe, yes. And so if it's something like maybe or not now or to be determined, I'll ask further clarifying questions like, is this a reading I may be doing in the future? And if so, how far into the future? And I have other little dice I made that has one die that has seasons, years, a season, weeks, months, days. And so you have all the timing here. And then I have 2 dice that have like a blank side and then it's numbered. And I asked when would be an appropriate time for me to do a reading on this particular case. And so I go with that. I don't push it. If I get a hard no or not now, I really just listen to that. I listen to it all, but especially no. It may be in my best interest to not do a particular reading. There may be too much backlash. Readers in general get backlash anyway because of the work that we do, inherently so. People particularly don't like when we do readings for missing persons, even though these readings are bringing awareness to the case. Some people are like, oh, we don't want that. Well, okay. Well, that's your opinion and your brand of spirituality. I have my brand of spirituality and my opinion, and I was called to do these readings. I won't bore you all with how that came about. Those of you who have been following Mystery Mystic Mondays, you already know. So there are times though when I'm like, this is just not an appropriate reading. My intuition is kicking in like, no, just leave it be. It could be for a variety of reasons. It could be out of protection for myself or for those involved in, the missing person's life. So it could be their protection. Maybe it's just not their time. It's not time for them. They're not ready to receive that information, and I'm not ready to convey it. Maybe it's not me. Maybe I'm not the translator, the interpreter for spirit to be the one to deliver it. Maybe it's another reader down the way, right? That's okay. There could be forces and people who have a vested interest in no news being involved surrounding a missing person because they're involved in the disappearance themselves. And so sometimes it's just simply they don't want the name out, but these people have such a strong intention. A, they had a strong intention of causing harm to someone, and B, they could very well shift that intention onto those who want to bring light to a situation. So I have all that to contend with. So I've tread lightly, and I pick the cases lightly and what I'm called to work with and for. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? Because the last thing my ancestors want is for me to be depleted or psychically attacked. And it's all because I just chose like, oh, I'm just going to do this reading because it's just going to bring so many views to my channel. Like, no. Like, there are cases that I got a hard no. No. And I might sometimes bust out a tarot deck that I use just exclusively with my interactions with my ancestors, and they'll be like, no. They'll just be like, hell no. And I listen. So, if the case makes it past that point, past the ancestral test, then I will go ahead and proceed forward. I do protection prayers. I do have certain creams I rub on my hands. I have sprays. Here, I'll show you. What I spray before, during, and after. I have my Florida Water by Lav Shaman. I have my lavender, white sage, and Palo Santo spray that I've personally made and set lots of intentions with. So I did that. I have a citrus one that I use for manifesting abundance. It's got bergamot, lemon, and it's just my citrus blend, and it's powerful stuff. So I spray. There's a lot of spraying that goes on. There's a lot of prayer that goes on, meditation, stillness, alone time, and also once I make the commitment to say, okay, I'm going to do this reading, if there are photos of the missing person, especially with them looking straight on, which nowadays there's at least that, I will sit with them. I'll sit with them for a day or two, gazing into their eyes, seeing what information I'm intuitively picking up from them, seeing if I can hear their voice or hear any words or anything that pops up into my mind that says, this is speaking about this case, or this is the voice of this person, okay? So there's that. So it's step by step by step. I rarely try to find a ton of information, and I usually can't on the internet before I do the reading. But what I do is I write out my questions, and I write them out in questions. Like, I used to have to investigate, and I've taken thousands of recorded statements in my prior career. Literally, yeah. So I've gotten witness statements. I've gotten statements from people who are not probably telling me the truth. I have this ability to know how to ask questions and how to glean what I need. And that has served me quite well in both my prior profession and my current profession. So with all that being said, I formulate my questions, and sometimes I'll handwrite them and have them here. And I'll handwrite them and have them here, or I type them out and have them on my laptop. So my laptop functions as where I keep the photos of the missing people. The thumbnails that I create for Mystery Mystic Mondays are saved there. Any information I have I create little folders of desktop folders. Not desktop, but I have one main Mystery Mystic Monday folder, and I have subfolders, and each missing person's case has their folder. And there's been a couple where people have been found, and I delete their folder, and it's a reading that I may not have shown on the channel because they've been quickly found. It's almost like had I waited maybe a day or two, and I wouldn't have probably did the reading, and there you go. So I now don't feel this strong urge to be the first one to do a reading, because I need to listen and pace myself and go with the flow on these. So I'll have let me show you, where is she? So you can't see her, you probably could see her a little bit, but Lena, and I'll just be gazing and having her picture up, having my questions, and I have this. Or I can stick this over here if I need to. And I ask my questions, and we go through the cards, and for each question, that's my reading style. I like to ask the question and see what cards come up for that question. And then I look to see if the cards are talking to one another on the table from question to question. There's information that could be here that's answering over here. So that's my job as the tarot reader, right? So that's what I'm doing during the reading. So I do the reading, but before I even start the reading, yes, I do a protection prayer before I even start really delving into their little energies. I then do a protection, affirmational prayer before I do the reading. I don't usually, sometimes you'll capture some of it that I'll say during the videos of Mystery Mystic Mondays, but oftentimes I do it off camera because it's kind of involved, and I do it typically off camera, but you might catch tidbits. And so then afterwards, I'm using my spray, especially if I can't, if I'm not able to take a shower or bath immediately. But it does help me to take a bath. Fun fact is that in where I've moved to, the DR, they don't usually have bathtubs. Everyone takes showers here, but I insist on having a bathtub because of the kind of spiritual work that I do, and a nice shower, because I need to be able to cleanse with water, and it helps me immensely to shed off these energies that I have now started to really immerse myself into. Here's the thing. These beautiful souls, these beautiful people are always going to be a part of me. Now that I've started all up, getting up in their energy fields and exploring what they've been going through before, during, and even after the disappearance, it's a lot, but they'll always be, now that I know about them, they're always with me. So, what I do now in recent Mystery Mystic Monday cases, as I started utilizing some of my prior investigative skills, my mapping skills, I was really good at that in my prior career, of being able to locate remote places where things have happened, like fatal or near fatal accidents have happened, very complicated, who is liable for this situation kind of stuff, civil matter stuff. But it was investigative what I was doing. So I was really good at maps. So now what I do is after the reading, not before, but after, I will look at the map online, right? I'll look at the map online and look at the cards that are on the table or the snapshot pictures that I've taken. And I will make notes, type out notes of different areas that potentially could match keywords in the cards, intuitive hits that I'm picking up on or hearing. I hear things, hear voices, hear words, and just feel it, just feel it. So I make notes of that. I'll look at the map and say, this place has an interesting name. It has this card keyword in there. That's interesting. That's not a coincidence to me. So that's my process for now. And there are times during the reading where the messages just do not make sense. I'll say what's in the cards, what my typical interpretations are, but I mean what I say, and I come from a full place of authenticity when I say, I don't know what's going on here. I'm just going to say it and see what comes up. Because what happens is either one of you beautiful, intuitive folks, because you guys are just as intuitive as I am, you pick up on things, or you may live locally and give me a whole new perspective about something that makes sense in the reading that I couldn't understand what was being said, because I'm not from everywhere. I only know what I know where I've been, right? So it helps to get that information in the comment section, or sometimes people kindly send me a direct message or an email to mysterymysticmondays@gmail.com. People send me things. So it's helpful, and I'm like, oh, now I get it. So I do a full write-up sometimes, just like I used to do in my old job, and pin it to the comment section under the video so you can see it and comment and add to it if you want. And there are times where the answers just don't make sense until I rewatch it later. And other times that could mean that Spirit is saying, you, Kim, aren't ready to take on what you're picking up here. It is not okay for you to get this information. Or it's like, you're not ready for this information, or the persons who would be watching this video. And again, I have to be really tactful and respectful when I'm doing these readings, from a human perspective to another human perspective. I have not, thankfully, experienced a missing persons case, but I've experienced personally a tragedy that played out in the news, the justice system, social media. It was, yeah. So I think that's what I'm called to help in any ways that I can, because, even if I can contribute a small little anonymous contribution on their GoFundMe or something, because people show me love and I just want to kind of pay it forward. And I empathize deeply, so I don't want to cause them any more pain and hurt, but I also really want their loved one to be found in any way that I can take my prior job experience skills, my mapping skills, my intuitive abilities that I've had my whole life, my gift of reading cards. If I can tie all of that together and help, I will. And if there's answers that are going to be revealed to us, that's because Spirit feels like we are ready to receive the downloads that we are getting. And if there's answers that just don't make sense to us, that there's a reason for that, okay? Just like different readers take on different interpretations because they have different lenses, different filters, different experiences that color their filters, color the lenses of how they see things, how they feel things, taste things, see things. And that's why it's interesting to watch readers' interpretations. I don't get too much in the habit of that, because my interpretation is my interpretation. I don't really want to watch if I end up watching another tarot reader's reading on a missing person's, chances are I'm not likely going to be inclined to want to do the reading. And it's because it's like, I feel like in too deep without my ancestral, like, a stamp of approval. And somebody else is doing the reading. Do I need to really add more of that to the mix? I don't know. And that's something I have to work out with me and my ancestors. So I don't know. And if I had time, sometimes I do have downtime as I'm falling asleep. But who wants to fall asleep to listening to, some people do fall asleep listening to a tarot reader talk, do their interpretations of missing persons. But yeah, I don't know if I've done it a few times where I've fallen asleep listening to another tarot reader talk about a case, and it can be kind of disturbing, the dreams you have. And usually I watch their other cases. I don't watch the cases that I have actually did, because I don't know. It's a rare, as of now, as of the time of recording this video, it is a rare thing for me to want to watch another reader's interpretation of a case I'm doing. I might if I really have the time, but I really don't have the time right now because I'm feeling bad just even doing this when I have client readings to do, when I have a daughter who wants to hang out with me, a husband who wants to hang out, chores to do, errands to run, And it's not my typical errands that I had in the States. So I don't have time to just be sitting and watching endless amounts of content. I don't. But if I did, I might watch a couple of readers. I have a few that I do check out. So, what else was I going to say? I think I talked about that. Talked about my cleansings. I may do follow-up readings from time to time on cases because new information might come through. Law enforcement might have a break, and then we want to explore energetically what may be going on now. Or if nothing has really been going on a recent case for a while, I might do an energy reading an update energy reading to see what's going on as of late. And I feel like it's my pending cases. And until they're found or until we know what happened to them, they're an open case for me, an open case to do that I've done readings for. And I'm not invested. I'm curious to know. And I know the folks who come to this channel for this, they're curious too. And we want justice. We want these people to be able to go home to their families. So I'm more inclined to revisit cases than I am to start new cases. That's how I feel about that. Doesn't mean that I don't start new cases. Doesn't mean that I don't keep a list. Sometimes I'll hear a missing person's name, and I will ask the dice, roll the dice, and I'll sit with it, and I get a yes, and I write it on a list. I have a long list of people who are missing to do readings on, and I have new cases that I could start at any moment, but I feel like children's missing cases, or when, folks are really just missing right in the initial phases, when we have the most opportunity to get them home alive, hopefully, right? But at least get some answers. It's the newer cases. Doesn't mean that the cold cases don't deserve attention. They do. But time is of the essence. And here's the thing. It's so sad to me because missing persons, often they go cold quickly. And unless the public is talking about it, there's not this sense of urgency to resolve the case. And that's what's really upsetting. So, I always ask people, please don't poo-poo those who either cover these kind of cases on their channel or on their social media platforms, or those who choose to do readings, because what we're doing is we're pushing this case up in the algorithm so that way attention can be brought to it and continue to be brought to it. Okay? That's what it is, in case you're like, oh, because at the end of the day, if I was wrong on a reading, at least I'm like, oh my gosh, they were found. They were found. Hallelujah. They were found. For me, as an authentic person, not just a reader, but a person, my ultimate goal is to help people come home. I don't want nothing else but that. So, something I'm passionate about, and something I plan to continue to delve into and to learn about myself and my abilities, and to strengthen this part of my reading practice. And I want to keep doing it and keep doing it. So I definitely approach the readings. I don't know if I approach it differently than other people. I don't know how other people decide on what readings they are called to do and to share. But I like to, when I do a reading, to affirm with the divine that we are going to get the answers that we need, and to help bring about closure. And closure, sometimes there are tarot cards that indicates it could be a decade or more. And I have to come up with the words on how to tactfully relay that kind of information. And I'm not always right. So there's that. But I read the cards, and sometimes it's like, we're not going to get closure for a long time in this. And it's sad. It's sad. And that's still not going to deter me. Just like the kind of work that I used to do didn't deter me at all. I just felt motivated to help people. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you come back. I hope you come back to check out another Mystery Mystic Monday video. And now that you've got a little background into my process, maybe that might help you understand why I do the things I do. I do plan to do a video just exclusively on the decks that I am using at the moment for disappearance type readings, these mystery, shadowy type readings. I did a live stream, but I don't know if people realize that maybe I need to retitle it or get a new thumbnail. I did discuss the decks, but because it's a live stream, it's kind of long, and I'd rather have a more succinct, tight video to share with you all on the decks. And so that'll be coming hopefully next week, next Mystery Mystic Monday. But thank you for hanging out with me and getting to know my little process of what I do. And it's all magical, all magical. I'm planning on, if time permits, I'm planning on doing a reading in just a few moments. And you'll see me wear the same head wrap and same shirt. And you'll know that I was getting ready to do a revisit or two of some cases of mine that are near and dear, and I'm praying for some answers, you guys. So thanks for watching. If you are ever so kind and love me so, and I hope you do, please hit the like button. It does help the channel, especially getting the word out about Mystery Mystic Mondays. It's really important to me. Please subscribe and share about what I'm doing over here. I don't just do Mystery Mystic Mondays. I talk about all sorts of things, learning how to read the cards, collecting decks, my spiritual journey, all that stuff. So it's not just Mystery Mystic Mondays or my husband sneezing in the background. There's usually other things happening here. All right, guys, take care. For real this time. Much love to you. Bye for now.